Hey VC, Gary's Vinyl Dungeon here with some recent updates here that I've picked up. I don't know if you watched my last video, but I had bought about 112 albums, I think, from the last video finds, record finds. So I did one video and I told you it was going to have to be two more parts, but then I went out and bought this two piles here. So it might be four parts by the time I'm done. But you know how it is. Went into my local record store and he had put aside some records, and I'll show you, probably it'd be in the next video, for me that he thought I might like. They were Grateful Dead and Gentle Giant. I asked him if he had gotten any in, never got any in, because I wanted to listen to some of their albums, and so he put those aside for me, and which I got here. Been trying to get into jazz more. I've got like four here now. They just came in the mail. I just got done listening to this one here, John Coltrane, on Blue Note. This is Blue Train. Fantastic album. Matter of fact, I just took it off the player and put it in the sleeve here. This came out in '58. I got notes back here, so I'm staring at the back of it. But this was Coltrane's favorite album out of all the albums he did. He liked this one the best that he ever did. A little history on him. I looked up the history of John Coltrane. I was interested in it. He was born September 23rd, which is my son's birthday, 1926. And he died July 17th of 1967. He was only 40. He died from liver cancer. He died in the hospital on Long Island. When the war broke out, he enlisted into the Navy. He was in the Navy for 2 years. In 1940, his dad and his grandparents died, so he was just raised by his mother. Yeah, that's just a little background on it. I looked it up and I wrote it down, figuring somebody might be interested in that. But I really like this album. Like I said, I'm no jazz guy, but I've been slowly trying to get into it. And this one here, I really like this one. I play jazz a lot of times. When I turn the lights down, I only have one little light on, kick back in my recliner, put the album on and just sit there and just kind of drift off. And those new speakers in my system in the other room, it almost sounds like he's performing in the room for you. It really does. It really does sound good. Anyway, that's that one. And I got this one. Now this one's good too. I like these two so far the best out of the ones I've gotten. But this is John Coltrane Ballads, and this was it's an orange record. Get it out of the glare. But this one here, I don't know if I mentioned, but this is on Blue Note. This one just released, of course. This one originally came out it was recorded in '61 and '62 and released in '63. But this was John Coltrane Quartet. Moving on here. I guess you'd pronounce this Ole. This came out in '61. This is another early one. This one's pretty good. This is on Atlantic. I like this one too. This isn't bad, but I like those two better. But and this one here, this one's a good one too. Coltrane Plays the Blues. This is a 1/8. Of course, these are all re-releases. None of these are originals. They go for big bucks on eBay and Discogs, but. This is supposed to be a collector's edition, limited pressing. It's Coltrane Plays the Blues. I know you guys that are jazz guys knows this album. This came out in '62. Okay, now I said something about I have, the guy got me some of these Gentle Giants. Now this is the debut album here. Everybody knows this album. I've seen quite a few people put this up. Let's see. Okay, this was originally released in the United States. It wasn't released in the United States with this cover. It was originally, the first time that in the United States it was released, it had the same cover as the Three Friends cover, which, and they were on Vertigo when they first came out. I don't know if anybody's got a copy of this with Vertigo, but that's when you know you got an original pressing. But yeah, I really like Gentle Giant. I'll be honest with you. I seemed even this one. This is a later one. This one came out. This is their 9th studio album. This came out in '77, and it actually this is the first album they ever had that actually reached the charts. The first side's kind of poppy, and the second side's more of the progressive rock that they are. But this one's called The Missing Piece. Of course, this is their debut, and it's even listed as Three Friends, but it originally came out with the Three Friends cover in the United States. But that's actually a, I guess, a UK pressing. This is the first pressing. The other one's called Freehand by Gentle Giant. This is on Red Capital label. Like I said, I've been putting, and it was actually recorded also when they did this album. It was recorded on 4-channel, but that didn't come out. That was recorded in '75. They did that, and it didn't come out with the 4-channel recording until 2012, and it was put on a DVD. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Next album. This is the Runaways live album. This was '76. Of course, everybody knows Lita Ford was on lead guitar and Joan Jett on rhythm. And this is a live album, of course. It's live in 1976. It was recorded in Cleveland, July 19th. It's not bad. They were bigger over in Europe, and they were real big in Japan, from what I understand. That's that. Next one, Best of Muddy Waters. This is an old recording. I didn't pick up the year on this. This is 2017 re-release, but I don't remember when. I looked it up, but I forgot. That's why I write little notes, because I forget. Let's see. This is an album that surprised me. First time I've ever seen the Church, any of the Church albums, and I really like this one. Of course, they're an Australian band. This came out in '88. This is their 5th studio album called Starfish. But I really like this album. It's a good album, and it's on the Arista label. But thoroughly enjoyed that one. I've been finding some really stuff that I never see out in the wild. I've really got. You'll see them as I do the next couple videos. I don't know how many I'll be able to get done for you today. But I've had some really great luck with finding albums. This is the Best of Stephen Stills. This is a good album. This is a first issue. This is on Atlantic. It's a good album. Love the One You're With. Helpless. Yeah, it's a lot of good songs on here. Change Partners. Good album. Steve Winwood, Refugees of the Heart. I like this one too. This wasn't bad. I don't know if I try to get this glare out of here. I bought one of those portrait lights where you set up to do studio portraits. But let's see, I don't even know this label. It's a blue triangle. Huh. Got my curiosity up. Oh, Virgin Records. Okay, there's another one, man. I've never seen this out in the wild, and I've always wanted it. Matter of fact, I was getting ready to buy a reissue, and I found this first pressing. Capitol Suite. It's called Desolation Boulevard. But yeah, I was happy to find that one. It's mostly all these records here. The guy I get them from my local thing. He don't buy them from people unless they're like perfect shape. He's got some in a dollar bin that aren't as pristine as he likes to sell them. But there's another one I stumbled across. It's from Starz, and it's called Violation. But yeah, I enjoyed this album. It wasn't bad. It's on Capitol, like a black and gold Capitol label. I'm not sure if this is a first pressing or not. I would not think so, but I could be wrong. I should have looked. Some of these I haven't looked up yet. I found a first pressing of John Wesley Harding. I already have 2 other copies of this, but this one was in pristine shape. I have one first pressing and it's scratched up, and I also have a MoFi copy. But when I seen this first pressing and it's in excellent condition, I picked it up. There's some things you see in a while that you got to pick them up, even if you got them at home. Here's Canned Heat, Hallelujah. I'm not sure I even listened to this one yet. I'm not sure. Like I said, I know I've bought 150 records in the last 6-8 weeks. But I'm not sure if I showed this one. Well, I know I didn't show this one, but I bought one of these off of Amazon, and I didn't realize that it wasn't the double album. It was one album. It was the new 50th anniversary, but it was only the one album. And this one is the 2 albums, which after I listened to the second one, I should have probably not bought it, but who knows. But it does sound good though. If anybody has that, they know. And then I'm not sure if I showed this one because I played it and I forgot what pile I got it out of. But Best of REM. Everybody knows that album. I've seen it listed many times. Now this one here is a Walmart exclusive. The pressing is not that good. It's Creedence Clearwater Revival. It's a greatest hits. It just came out in, I think, 2017, I believe. But yeah, I mean, it's got all their good songs. You know, I'm not gonna sit there and mention them, but it's got all the. And this one I didn't have, and this is another Walmart exclusive. It was only $20. Aerosmith's Greatest Hits on Columbia label. And that light is a nice light, but it really hits you with the glare. I like that album. That's a good album. I played that a few times. Now this one I got. I have all Zac Brown's earlier albums. I got them all. And this one came out, and I said, well, I got to get it. So I got it, and it's not a bad album. Don't get me wrong. It's a decent album, but it's nothing like the first 5 or so. Totally different. It's called The Owl. I don't know, I guess people have seen this around, but it's like I said, it's not a bad album, but it's different style than their first albums. Okay, and everybody's seen this one. I'm not sure. I thought this was on a. Nope. I thought maybe that might have been a colored album, but this is Lou Reed Transformer. Everybody knows this album. Picked that up on eBay. It's Walk on the Wild Side. I think it was 72 album that came out. And then I finally picked up, I've been wanting to get this one. This is the Beatles Mono Masters. I've been wanting to get this. Finally seen it, fairly reasonable price. So I picked it up. But good album. Anything Beatles I usually pick up if I don't have it. I think that's a 3-record set, I'm not sure. Oh, anyway. Anyway, anywho, this is a nostalgic buy. I remember having this when I was young, and it's Best of the Lovin' Lovin' Spoonful. But it's got some really good songs on it. I'm not sure what label it was. It says there's it's on the Kama Sutra label. It's kind of a cool looking label. But yeah, it's right there on the front. I didn't have to pull it out. Kama Sutra. It had original sleeves. I always save them even though they're brown looking. Said it comes with a poster, photos of each one of the guys. Of course, this is John Sebastian's band, but it didn't have them in it. It's a stereo pressing. Let me get these out of the way before they fall. Okay, I picked these two up. I've never seen these out in a while, and this is UK. This is their debut album, 78. No, I'm sorry. This one is their debut album. This was 78. This one came off of the wrong one. And then this one was 79. But this is on Polydor, and this one is just says UK label. I don't know. No, it's Polydor too. One thing, I wrote some notes here. This is Wheaton. He was in King Crimson, Roxy Music, and he was the bass player, and he was also in Uriah Heep. Edward Jobson, he was also in Roxy Music, Jethro Tull. Keyboard player and violin, and he was also with Frank Zappa. And Bruford is a drummer. He was from King Crimson. And Alan Holdsworth, he was lead guitarist for. Oh no, he was just their lead guitarist. Okay. So that's that. This is Jethro Tull album. This is their second studio album, and this is a good album. I really like this album. 69 this came out. I don't know what it's on. Reprise. It's on Reprise. This is kind of cool. That's why I didn't pull the album out of it. But here's the centerfold. It's one of them three-dimensional centerfolds. They kind of pop up. I thought that was pretty cool when I first opened it up. But yeah, this is a really good album by Jethro Tull. I like it. Second studio album. Let's see, what was this? This is a Love album. This came out in '69. This is their fifth studio album. It's called Out Here. It's kind of weird. I first seen it, I didn't know what it was. Wasn't familiar with it. And then when I found out it was a Love album, I got all excited. Because the cover's not in the best shape, but the vinyl was in really good shape. Which is the cover I fixed. It had two splits on the top. Of course, I got one of them things where you can fix them, so fixed it right up. And of course this is the label. But, yeah, this is a double album. Big fan of Marshall Tucker. I've seen them probably 5 or 6 times. This one's called A New Life. I didn't look up what year this came out. 74. Yeah, 74. I don't know how many people out there is a Marshall Tucker fan, but I've seen them a lot live. They were always different bike rallies. I used to go to bike rallies like all the time. Down in Myrtle Beach, Daytona, Easy Rider Rodeo. Well, here's another band I've seen a lot live. I've seen these early on, and this is the Outlaws. I don't remember when this came out. I think it was 75 though. It's on Arista. This I haven't really, wasn't prepared for this. I just wanted to get them off my desk here. That's why I did these first. Yeah, it's on a blue Arista label. It says 75. That's probably about right. Outlaws, they used to have like 2 drummers playing. I've seen them over in Washington. I've seen them in Philadelphia. I've seen them down in Daytona, I believe, one year. Yeah, I like the Outlaws. Like country rock, southern rock, or whatever you want to call it. Joe Cocker, Luxury You Can Afford. I like this album. This was a good album. I like Joe Cocker. And this is on Asylum Records. Let me get it. It's upside down. I usually put them in there right side up. Anal. But there's that. Get that there. Stephen Stills. I never even listened to this one yet. It's called Thoroughfare Gap. It's on Columbia. It's a white labeled Columbia sticker. Don't know what to tell you about that one, whether it's good or not. But I found original pressing, and the people didn't know what they had, but it's an original pressing of Chicago Transit Authority, their first album. And I had to pick it up. I couldn't leave it sit there. But love that album. That was one of my earlier albums. That's probably one of the first maybe 20 albums that I ever bought was that album. This one here is a new release. I think it was 2017. I think I remember. I didn't put my little note thing on it, but I'm thinking that's when it came out. Yeah, 2017. See that? My memory's not all that bad after all. This is on Witchcraft Records. But this is Steve Winwood's Greatest Hits. Fantastic album. If anybody's a fan of Steve Winwood, this goes through his whole career. Through Spencer Davis Group with I'm a Man. It's Can't Find My Way Back Home, Back in the High Life. I mean, Dear Mr. Fantasy. This is just loaded. It's live. It's live recordings. And it's stuff that he picked out and put this album together. Some of his favorite live recordings. But it is, man, it's a fantastic album. It really is. Great sounding album. For being a live album, really good. Got a great sound to it. Okay, and here's the other Sgt. Pepper's that I showed you ahead. I think I already showed that. I just wanted to get these off here. They've been in my way, and I figured I'd show them first. Where am I at here? 24 minutes. I'll show a couple more. I'm going to fill my bottle up my glass up too full. Okay, now this one here, I seen Brandon on Mr. Hall of Fame show this album. And normally, if he says something's good, you know, if I have never heard one before, I get it. And I ordered this off of eBay. It was like, I want to say $11 or $12, and it's music on vinyl, and it's a band called Nina. The name of the album is Question Mark. Now, I did not know this was in German. I mean, it's a German band, but they're singing and everything in German. This is their second album, came out in '84. But surprisingly, it's a good listen. It's kind of weird, you know. This is a limited edition, 1,000 copies, and it's got a fantastic sound to it. Mine's number 754. But they lowered the price on it. I guess they couldn't sell them. Don't know if I would have bought it if I knew it was in German, but now after I bought it, I actually liked listening to it. It was a good listen, which is, you know, something different. Next one here is 10 Years After, and this one's called, this is a 7th studio album. This is the first pressing, actually. It's called Rock and Roll Music to the World. It's a good album. I really like this album. Yeah. 10 Years After. I was really into them, but I found it first pressing. It's on Columbia. But here was another good find. These are the ones that my buddy put aside for me, and this is the 3 album of Grateful Dead album with its live album, and so even got the tour book still in. And this is a original pressing. This came out in '72. Came out. It's a European tour, so it's a live album like most Grateful Dead albums are, but it's one of their European tours that they did. And like I said, this has even got the tour book in it, and the vinyl's in perfect shape. The outside covers, you know, got a little dirt on it, but. And there's another one that I found that he saved for me, and this is their first live album, Live Dead. This came out in '69. And this is a double album, I believe. Yeah, double album. This is another good album. I really like this one. Like I said, first pressing, you can't beat it. I love when you go out and you find stuff, man. It's like a treasure hunt. And here's 2 from the band Accept. They're a heavy metal band. They're a German heavy metal band, put it that way. This is a Portrait label. Try to get that so it's so damn glary. This is their 7th studio album. Came out in 1986. I liked it. I like heavy metal. You know, I've been getting it. Now here's their debut album. This is a gold label promo. This first came out on in Germany on the label Brain label. I read that and I threw it on here. But this is their debut album. But I think this was a Canadian press. I think I remember looking up. I think that's what it was. And I found this one, which is really good. This is King Crimson. This is called Lark's Tongues in Aspic. Of course, most people know this. This is their 5th studio album. This is the first pressing too on it. It's on Atlantic label, and I was really happy to find this. It's a good album. What am I up to? 29. I'll show you these Kinks albums, then I think I'll call it I'll save the rest of them for another day. Let's see. This is a repress, of course. This is a brand new repress. This is a '64 Kinks. This is their debut album that featured the song "You Really Got Me" on it. I don't know if you can even see the label. I forget. It's 180 gram. It's one of the new releases. And the second one here is the Kinks, and this is think Arthur's, it's got a long name. I didn't even put this on this. This is a mono copy, I believe. This is a repress. No, stereo copy. It was released in mono in the UK, but not in the US. It was only on stereo. This was actually a soundtrack to a television show, I believe, called Granada Television Play. This came out in '69. This is their 7th studio album. It's kind of a weird album. And the next one I got, this is a good find. This is it's called Kinks' Greatest Hits, Celluloid Heroes, and it's got the song Celluloid Hero on it. This is their last album on RCA. After that, they went to another label. They were having problems with RCA. This has come out in '76. It's a compilation, but there's not too many their albums that have Celluloid Hero on it. And I like that song a lot, so I was glad to find that one. I believe that's it. I've got probably another 30 to show you, but I think we'll call it a. Hope everybody had a great holiday. I'm going to call it a evening here. There's something I wanted to mention. Oh, I don't know. I forget. You know how I needed a post-it note for what I was getting ready to say. But okay, everybody. Hope everybody had a great holiday, and looking forward to the new year or finding records. I had a bad year for 10 months, and then the last 2 months I've found all kind of stuff I was looking for. So that was pretty cool.